Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I'm calling this Compression Week, and I'll show you why in just a minute. We're going to take a look at the Dow Industrials on a daily and weekly chart. One of my key indicators is the Mcclellan Oscillator. See what it's telling us. Three key indicators, ETFs, the semiconductors, the home builders, and the financials. And then we're going to check in on three of the FANG stocks, Apple, Facebook, and Netflix. So stay tuned. Okay, let's start off here with the Dow. The Dow on Friday was down 9.5 points, so not a whole lot of movement in here, very tight. This has been trending above the Keltner channel, especially here's the last week, okay? Here was last Friday, and then this weekly activity is what occurred in here. We've still stayed outside that Keltner channel and well above the 10-day moving average, exponential moving average. I've got the 10 and the 21 simple on here. Now, here's a trend line that I drew between minute wave 2 and minute wave 4 within this fifth minor wave, okay? Here's minor wave 4. And what I did was I created a parallel line and put it out top here and put it at the top of 3, minute wave 3, to see how closely it would line up with the top of 1. And it came close, but it didn't exactly line up. But that's fine, because really, once I get 2 and 4, I'm projecting a parallel from top of 3. And so that gives us a little bit of a target that if the Dow continues to push to the upside, it becomes somewhat of a target at the top of the channel. Okay, so that's something we're looking at. Let's take a look at the weekly chart, the Dow on the weekly chart. I'm calling this compression week because of this compression that occurred this week. Up 81 points, but look at the trading range on this. This is like the tightest trading range on the Dow Industrials in weeks. I mean, you got to go way back, maybe here on June 23rd, week ending June 23rd, it was about 202 points between the high and the low. And what was it this week? 419 to 283. So we're talking less than 140 points, if I'm doing my math right. Very, very tight trading range. I mean, just amazing. So, I mean, look at this thing back here. Now, we could have, when I see, things cycle. They cycle between compression and expansion. Now, what you don't know is, for sure, are we going to get another explosion, big expansive week like this week to the upside? Or are we going to get a comparable expansion like this to the downside? So it's just something to be watching for, something to be aware of. We just had this, big compression. We are getting a significant amount of divergence here on the Dow. Now, this is on the weekly chart, okay? So this is a little bit longer term picture in terms of the divergence that's showing up here on the weekly chart with these last highs that have been made in here. So right now, it continues to trend above the 10-week moving average. It's not breaking down as of yet. So that is the current trend, and we'll see what this compression week generates. All right, let's take a look at one of my key indicators, the Mcclellan Oscillator. All right, so what's happening here is here's severely overbought, greater than 150, and here's severely oversold, below minus 150. So the range on Friday, or the ending reading on Friday, was 70.8. Now, what's interesting is I drew this vertical line because this is year end, okay? So here is all the trading. To the right of that line is all the trading for 2017. Notice that this high point right here on January 4th was the most overbought that the stock market has been in all year. And then when we got this peak here on September 1st, it was the second most. And then, here the third most. And so we had these readings going on. But the interesting thing that's going on here is that we're getting significant divergence. And actually, that did not set up the way I wanted it to. Let me show you something here. Let me get my crosshairs on. So where is this peak, this first peak here on September 1st? It's right here. Okay, so the Mcclellan Oscillator is not confirming this entire move from September 1st up and through here. Okay, the Dow kept pushing higher, but the Mcclellan Oscillator did not confirm it in terms of a continued push to the upside. Okay, so that's the picture. We are just slightly overbought at this point at 70. That's what I'd call slightly overbought. So we'll see how she unfolds this coming week after a compression week. All right, let's dive in and take a look at our key ETFs. Let's take a look at the semiconductors to start off with. This just continues to trend, just continues to push above the 10-week moving average. The blue line is the 10-week. We got a little doji candle in here, though, little doji star for the week. So, sometimes that's just a pause. Sometimes that can be an ending candle. We're just going to have to watch and see what do we get as continuation for the next week. I have drawn this trend line in. This is the trend line from the February low. I guess it was actually the February 2016 low. So, strong trend that this has been in, as have a lot of things over the last 18 to 20 months. So right now, no breakdown in the semiconductors. We take a look at the home builders. And the home builders, we had this test last week, and then now we got some continuation to the downside. It was down 30 cents for the week. No breakdown yet. I mean, we're not back below that 10-week moving average. So right now, you'd have to say we've been pushing sideways, just kind of chopping sideways at this point. And then when we look at the financials have had 2 great weeks in here, nice pullback, but it looks like it's just pulling back to this trend line. It just a snap back to the trend line, and it's running into the trend line, and it's running into the previous high type of resistance in here. So it's going to be a real test to see, do we get above this previous high at $25.59. The high this last week, $25.52. All right, let's check in on Apple. Apple has been selling off. My insider members, I had them into a put trade on this. We got in, actually we were in it for 2 days. Got in on Wednesday at the opening when it broke these lows. And the target I had set was right down here. I had this hash line, and it got hit on Thursday, exited. We had very nice profit. It was 60% return in 2 trading days. You can't argue with that. You got to take it and walk away. So right now it's pushed down a little bit further, and this gap is almost closed. You can almost say that it's closed for all intents and purposes. The low on Friday got really, really close to doing it. So now we've gotten pretty extended with the move to the downside. We're outside the Kellner channels. I wouldn't be surprised to see a snapback type move in here. But when you look at the RSI, yeah, we got oversold. But a lot of times you get at least a test and some divergence or something that shows up. And so that's why if we get a snapback move in here, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down and test this support zone in here. And if this support zone doesn't hold, it's going to come down and test this one down here at 142 to 142.5, 143. Okay. But right now we got this one in here at about 47.5 to 48.5. I guess it's a little bit, the numbers are a little bit different, but you see what I'm talking about. That's what I'd be watching for on Apple. Facebook, this thing is just incredible. But now it's been pushing sideways since the close here, the high close on July 28th. It's just been chopping sideways, and then now it's broken this trend line, which you'd have to say is a, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 month trend line. It's broken it, and then it snapped back a little bit to it, and then it's now starting to slowly roll over in here. Nothing dramatic yet, but it looks like potential. And of course, it's getting a lot of stuff in the news on Facebook. Let me look at this one. I mean, this is just an incredible trending animal. I mean, look what it's been doing since 2014. Yeah, it chops. Yes, it pulls back, but this channel that it's been in is just incredible. So it's a very dangerous stock to try to trade to the downside, I think, right now. And, it just keeps trending to the upside. So that's the picture on Facebook and Netflix. Netflix, I put this on my stock squawk page on the website. Talked about this. I think it was, it might have been yesterday morning or Thursday afternoon. I can't remember exactly. Talked about this resistance zone that it looks like it's now testing. And I think, the real challenge is going to be, can it punch through this? If it can, could really launch itself for another big move. But if it can't and it comes back down, this is going to be the real test. Right down here around 165, the previous lows, 165 to 167. So we're going to be watching to see what does this do this coming week with this resistance zone in here. It closed at 187.35. So that's the picture on Netflix right now. Let me zoom back out. You get the bigger picture. It's been in a pretty solid uptrend since July of 2016, July of last year. So, all right, that's it for this video. If you felt like this was helpful, please hit the like button, and remember to share the video. And if you're not watching this on my website, head on over to the website and check it out. I've got other posts and other videos on the Stock Squawk page, and check out the Insider membership also. All right, everyone, have a great rest of the weekend and next week. We'll talk to you on the next video.